morning, guys. Charles from the Church Corner. Just going to be doing some quick analysis. If you hear any sounds in the background, it's just my dishwasher running, so I apologize for that. But let's just get started with the analysis. So what are we looking at here? Again, we're looking at the indices as we have been looking at recently. Now, what have we seen? Well, as we saw and as we talked about in the last time we did a bit of analysis on the indices, we're expecting a push down basically into this area here, right? So here on the S&P, we didn't exactly get to that area. What did we get to? Essentially this area out here, right? Where this whole candle is kind of taking up all of these two candles here as well, right? So we got down to that area and we saw a bit of a reaction. You can see that reaction here on the weekly, and obviously we see it on the daily as well. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a fade from this move, right? But we'll see what happens as we start to push down into this fair value gap here and just this regular gap as well. So we have a fair value gap here to here, and then just a basic gap as well. And then again, we see a nice down candle formation before this sharp move higher. Look at the 4 hour, just kind of confirm things, right? So we see essentially this guy in here would be interesting, right? And then as well, where we have the blue line would also be interesting as well, looking at the 4 hour. All right, so that is what we're looking at on S&P, and essentially what I'm saying is starting to see if we want to see if we can get maybe a bit of a bounce from one of these lines and up into this area here, as this is where I would, people would likely start to get, this idea that maybe the bear market's over, any stuff like that. And if it's not over, and if kind of the big players want to slam it down, this is a good area, at least in my opinion, you know what I mean, based on how I do analysis, and that analysis largely being the idea that, again, if we look at kind of just this outside high here, and then this swing low from this swing from this outside high to this outside swing low, right? And then we pull the fib tool on. That's the 50% retracement level here. And then as we get above that 50% retracement level, what do we have? We have another fair value gap here to here, and then just a basic gap as well. And then as well, we have a nice 3 candle formation here as well. So 1, 2, 3, and then it pushes down. And again, all of this is above that 50% retracement level from outside swing high to outside swing low, right? Or at least outside swing low as of now, right? Because this could easily just I could be completely wrong about this bounce happening, right? And it could just slam down now. And then all of a sudden, this isn't really that much of an outside swing low anymore, right? So that is basically what I'm saying is, like, as of now, I feel comfortable with my analysis being like so, right? And saying the idea that I'm looking for the price to come up here before I start trying to fade this maybe, bull rally in a bear market, right? Nasdaq, looking at the Nasdaq, looking at the weekly. So here we can see we're kind of pushing lower into this choppiness that we discussed before, as we would come up, come down, come up, come down, try to come up, can't really make a new high, come back down, can't really make a new low either, and then push up again, try to make a new high, and you make a new high finally, but then you have to come back down before pushing higher, right? So just some choppiness over there, and we've kind of pushed into that as well on the Nasdaq. Then again on the daily, looking at outside swing high down to outside swing low, or at least outside swing low as we see it now, right? And then again, what I forgot to mention on the S&P, and I can mention it here on the Nasdaq as well, because it's also here. So this outside swing low here, right, this new outside swing low here that we have was made by us pulling up, making a swing high, and then breaking down lower, and then we got to push higher above that swing high that made that new low, right? Now it's not exactly the same thing on S&P, because if we look at the S&P, what we have is we actually made a new low here with this candle, but then we made a new swing high before making a new swing low below that low as well, and then we pushed above that swing high. So getting back into the Nasdaq again, looking for us to pull back up to this 50, and I'll drag this here, adjust this, looking for us to pull back up to that 50 level right? And again, nice fair value gap, just plain old gap here, and then 3 candle formation before we push down. So looking for us to pull back up into that 50 level. Yeah, that's good over there. And then Dow. So the weekly on the Dow looks a bit better than the S&P in terms of what we had identified in previous videos. We pushed down into this area here. So from wick to body, we pushed down into that area of this 3 candle formation that we had identified in previous videos. We also pushed down into this fair value gap as well. So boom, boom, right? And we also pushed down into just this basic old gap that we also had down there, right? Now daily, we're starting to see a bit of movement on the Dow as well as, you know, the Nasdaq and the S&P, but we're starting to see a little bit of a break from that move. And then again, we have a nice fair value gap in here, and then a nice candle formation as we push down. We basically form a new swing high and form a new swing low, right? And then we push up and break above that swing high that made that new swing low. So again, if we want to drag this guy into this outside swing high here, then down to this new swing low, again that 50% retracement, again fair value gap. Well, has this one been booked? Let's check. So we got the high of this is 7769, high of this, no, it has not been. Wait, yes it has. Yes it has. But we still do have this. Sorry about that. We still do have, even though this fair value gap was briefly broken into here with this candle, with this candle's high, we still do have this nice 3 candle formation, 1, 2, 3, right, and then a basic gold gap here as well. So that's that first area that we're identifying being that 50% retracement level again. So yeah guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Hope it provides some value to you, and join us again next time, man. Thank you.